Fire away.
Zach, are you anticipating Joe Burrow starting and playing on this week's game against Cardinals?
Yeah. That's a strange question. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to kind of follow up though, I mean, do you feel like he's healthy enough to run a good offense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do.
Why has the offense not been good?
We just got to do a better job finding rhythm early. You know, there's a lot of things you can point to. We were 0-5 on third down in this game. Our first second down efficiency was really good to start the game. It's just when you're 0-5 on third down in the first half, you're not taking any pressure off the defense. It was 3-3, halfway through the second quarter. And we got to do something offensively by converting those third downs and turn them into points to where take the pressure off the defense so the other team can't run the ball as much as they do. And so that's really the easiest starting point for us.
You feel like the defense has been on the field probably too much?
Yeah, when you're 0-5 third down, that's your defense going to be on the field because you're not extending drives the way we need to.
What kind of makes you think it can look dramatically different with Joe still battling the same stuff next week?
Yeah, it is what it is, and I think every week's going to continue to improve that way. Again, we've just got to be better on the things that we can control. You'd love on that first possession if we could have turned that into 7 points. Maybe the start of the game's different. We had a great drive, great efficiency. Really felt good about the second drive too. Again, they got us on a 3rd and 7 call. Fell off into the throwing window and got a sack. Zeroed us on the third drive on a third down. Good call by them. So again, those 3 drives, not being able to get more than 3 points is what hurt us. And again, put a lot of pressure on our defense.
How can you combat teams that are obviously going to press the outside and rush the middle until Joe proves he can do else? I mean, how do you combat that?
Yeah, we got to just continue to game plan for it. And again, I don't want to give all the answers in this room,
right?
Because then Arizona will just do it. But again, that's on us. That's on me, really, as a play caller, to find ways to get this team in the end zone earlier in the game, so that we can play better complementary football as a team.
After having time to look at the tape on defense, what was wrong with tackling yesterday?
Well, just the tackling in general. I mean, just getting them down. There was 3 penalties on third downs that extended drives. And, that's going to lead to the defense being on the field longer and guys getting worn down and missing. When you're playing Derrick Henry, that's what they're counting on. And so we let them play the style of ball that they play best. That's a credit to them. They dictated how the game was played. And we let them dictate that. And so, again, by not converting third downs on offense, by getting 3 penalties on third down on defense, you gave them more snaps, and that allows Derrick Henry to start to build up some steam. And that's what you see on the tape when you're playing against a guy like that is missed tackles because he's a load. He does a great job. We've done a better job in the past of, again, complementing each phase to where we keep him off the field and just didn't do a good enough job of that yesterday.
With tackling, is it more of a technique or a mentality?
No, our mentality's always been there.
I know Cam's probably in concussion protocol, but it looked like he's dealing with a shoulder too. Are there 2 issues going on with that?
Well, I think he came back initially for that, and then it's the head. So he's going through the protocol right now with the head injury.
Kind of every week this year talk about some sort of penalties or tackling or kind of self-inflicted mistakes. When you look back at camp and the way the season started, or the things you could have done to prevent self-inflicted mistakes?
Well, the penalties, it's interesting because they've been something different each game. One game was false starts. This one we had a defensive hold. We had an offside. We had a roughing, with the running back. And, we had a clip on a punt return when we were punting the ball. And so they're all different stuff. It's usually a different person each time. It's been stuff that's hurt us, so we got to do a better job of that. And I think our guys understand that.
Did you get an explanation on Dak's roughing? Was it the hit itself of going after running back, or was it extracurricular?
It was probably extracurricular.
Was the one that you said the clip that was the one that they called, the originally called, it was on Tyson, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You and Darren were having a long conversation with the official. Did you think it was on Tennessee because they had called that, or were you just?
I thought it was initially. Yeah, we just watched the whole pursuit down the field, and we thought initially that's what it was.
How drastic are some of the conversations you guys have on a day like today about how differently things could need to be offensively to change things? I mean, how deep into that do you go? Dramatic changes.
Yeah, that's really every Monday and Tuesday for us, whether we've won or lost. And the biggest things we can do as a team right now is learn from these last 4 games, the things we can learn from. Just focus on tomorrow. our players rehabbing and watching a little bit of tape. We got to put together the best plan we've had so far and do everything we can for this to be our best performance against Arizona to get back on track. And that's really all we can control. We don't look down the road. We learn from the things that are behind us. I think our team has done a great job embracing that mentality. And that's what we expect this week is just let's have a great week of work. Let's put together a great plan for our players to be able to execute and go on the road and get a big win.
With the offense being where it's at, have you kind of added to Jamar's responsibilities? It seems like he's doing some different things.
I feel like, he's moved around a lot this year. We've tried to find a lot of ways to target him. That's something you want to do with your best players. So a lot of our guys have kind of fallen in that category. Again, we got to be better on third down. We've now had 2 games now. One, we were 2 of 15, I think, against Cleveland, and 0-5 in the first. We didn't get a third down in the third quarter in this game because we just had the turnover on the possession. But it's as simple as that. So then everything else gets magnified when in reality, if we can just extend these drives, then we get a chance to get into better rhythm and all the things you really talk about with our defense, we get a chance to do the other team's defense, wear them down and allow some missed tackles and find a rhythm and get softer coverage. And so a lot of the things, it's really very simple when you boil it down to where this thing went wrong in the second quarter.
You referenced yesterday maybe there was a bit of complacency potentially after the Monday night game. Do you feel like that was an issue going into this game?
No, I don't remember what I referenced, but had a chance to reflect back on the week and really felt like we had a good week and felt really good going into the game that it was going to be a good performance from our guys. And then just, again, there's always that period there in the second quarter where it's I think 3-3 with 7.5 minutes left in the quarter. And then you look up and it's 24-3 at halftime. And so that's an area right there where offense has got to find a way to get some points to put pressure on them. Defense has got to continue to stand up, and there's really just that 7-minute window where things really went south for us.
When the offense was at its best last year, checked out Hayden and Samaje were huge,
Mm-hmm.
which were doing well. Has it been a challenge finding kind of the check down game with different personnel?
We haven't hit a ton of checkdowns, but I'm not going to sit here and say that that's where the ball should have gone on a lot of them either. So he found one to Mixon for a good gain when we were backed up yesterday. I think we threw a screen for -3, and then Mixon got us about 11 back, I think, to get us into a 3rd and 4, so maybe 9-yard gain there. So there's been, I think we found them when they're there, when there's the opportunity for them. I'm not going to sit here and say, man, we should have thrown the check down a lot more in a lot of these concepts. That's not the way it's really played out for us.
At 1-3, Zach, how much do you have to manage? The guys understood the expectation for the year. I know you have understood the expectation. How much do you have to manage the disappointment of a slow start with this group?
It's that those are things we talk about in the individual meetings, the unit meeting, the team meeting. I think our guys understand where we're at and what we have to do differently, and that really our focus is just on Arizona and playing our best game and finding a way to win, and then we'll be right back on track. So managing disappointment, these guys are pros and they're here for a reason, and they believe in each other and they believe in the process that we're undergoing. So I feel really good about where this team's at. And, I watched some of the post-game, interviews with these guys and love their responses. It shows that immediately in an emotional loss right there, just where their mind's at, it's at the right place. And I enjoy listening to those guys talk, and you got a lot of belief in our players when you hear them talk like that.
Yeah, out of curiosity, what do you like when you're kind of watching those? What are you looking to see to make sure that when they're talking to us, that they're responding the right way?
Yeah, just again, is it about the team and about things I can control and do better? I thought Jamar's was outstanding. Like, really, when you watch the 2.5 minutes he spoke, it's really leadership. He's reflecting a lot on when I get my opportunities, I got to find ways to be explosive, get in the end zone. We got to be more detailed, looking at the playbook, watching tape. Thought he was outstanding, and even you love the clip. I didn't totally understand the question he got asked. I don't know how I would have answered that. It just shows the confidence that he is that I'm going to get open and win. And when I get my opportunities, I gotta do something with it. And so I love that. That's confidence in one of our best players. I thought he showed great leadership in his whole 2.5 minute response. Like, it was really you're proud of our guys in those moments, because some guys can take those opportunities to really go off the rails. And Jamar's a great example of how our guys, our best players, handle it the right way. And I thought he showed great leadership there.
Do you do that often? Do you watch that every
No, it's not necessary after every game. There's times when, you're curious. I thought it was great in the locker room afterwards. Our players that talked in the locker room. It's disappointing. There's no you go in there expecting to win the game, and so when you lose 27-3, it's initial frustration, obviously, when you walk off the field and disappointment. But once you're around the players in that environment where they're all surrounding you and you're listening to it, it's the confidence is reinstilled in you that we're going to be in great shape. And again, we just have to make the most of this week, and that's got to be where our focus is, and not worrying about what's down the road, not worrying about what our record is at this point. You have to learn from some of those games we've just had because there's great moments to learn from, like we've had in years past. And I'm confident that our guys will be able to do that. Okay.
Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.